March 26th 夜 Number 1 答えるでしょう。 This passage mainly talking about how scary movie will be made thanks to the movie directors. Well, I don't know the general image of general idea of these passages. It's pretty difficult to grasp the idea of this. If one movie has the estimate of G or ratings, that indicates that the movie has inappropriate scenes for children, so that they can only adults or over 18 years old can watch the movie. But after that, I don't know. Try to express the making goal. That struggle of Idaho. People who are squeamish about the sight of blood or recoil in horror from most forms of violence. To avoid some of the movies now being shown at the local cinemas, producers have learned that the films that scares patrons out of their seats ironically put millions of fans into those seats, keeping them engrossed in the goosebump-inducing spectacles that flash across the screen. Of course, each movie carries with a rating that indicates its suitability for certain age groups, either because of its project matter, language presentation, or level of violence. Pictures with G rating that are approved for all audiences, while at the other end of the scale, those that are given an NC-17 rating of what house only with no children allowed under any circumstances. Getting an R rating indicates that the movie is restricted. No one under 18 without a doubt. But some Hollywood moguls consider the R to be the magnet that ensures box office success. And we can be sure that as long as shock films ring up a merry tune on the cash registers, producers will not desist from making them. Attractive who specializes in making gory films involving monsters, vampires, and brutal serial killers, stated in a college lecture. This work was in good taste. One student who disagreed was provoked to interject in his opinion. The diet of shock movies was in worse taste than those pictures that contain a vulgar language. those forms of violence.かんないとやる気なくなるな。確かにその通りで。10%。Box office.
Box office. Skog. Skog. Skog joined. Skog minister. Skoggy.
Skog. Shark skog. The tire. Shark skog. Jerry Hart's sixth sense. Uneasy feeling admired Jerry Hart miserable day long. It was difficult to explain, but the similar sensation in the past had been accurate. Trouble was on the way. Trouble was on the way. Trouble was on the way. Just as some people can predict the onset of inclement weather because of the aching in the bones, so could Jerry. To tackle incipient disaster, he sat at his desk, trying to peruse a company report, but his efforts were ineffectual. Knowing at his insides the tinge of uneasiness, the premonition of calamity that besieged him wouldn't desist. When the phone rang, he recoiled with fear. He recoiled with fear. It was his wife, and he was hysterical, and she was hysterical. The sound of being bitten by a mad dog. Crisis. As soon as Jeffrey Hart could get the pertinent facts from his wife, he dashed out of the office on the way home. He dashed out of the office on his way home. He jostled the people in the hallway, implored the elevator operator to hurry, and with flagrant disregard from the elderly gentleman, jumped into the cab he had hailed. The 20-minute taxi ride seemed interminable, and all the while, horrible thoughts occurred to Jeffrey. Visions of an ugly mystic with a foaming jaw obsessed him. A crowd of people had gathered from this house so that Jeffrey had to force his way through them. Little Body was in his bed, surrounded by a doctor, a police officer, Jeffrey's doleful wife, his 2 daughters, and a half-dozen one neighbors. Doleful means sickly pale, probably. Says one. Condolent, sad and melancholy. A time for decision. The doctor explained the situation calmly, avoiding histrionics. First of all, they didn't know whether the dog had rabies. Secondly, the elusive dog had frustrated all attempts to find him so far. Finally, the decision would have to be made whether the body was to undergo the painful vaccination and administered daily for 2 weeks. Mrs. Hart said the neighborhood who had seen the dog claimed that it had been foaming at the mouth. It had been foaming at the mouth, barking and growling constantly, all symptomatic of rabies. Symptomatic of rabies, but the policeman interjected that there hadn't been a case of mad dog in the country in over 20 years. He repudiated the neighbor's report, advocating that they did nothing for at least another day. Mr. and Mrs. Hart sat down to think about their next step. The pertinent facts about rabies. Give me some of the rudimentary information about the disease, Doc, said Jeffrey, glancing toward the inert figure of his son. Well, as you know, the malady used to be called hydrophobia, fear of water, because one of the symptoms is an ability to swallow liquids. Actually, it's caused by a live virus from the saliva of an infected animal. If saliva gets into the bite wound, the victim may get rabies. The virus travels along the nerves to the spine and brain. Once the salient characteristics appear, 10 days to 6 months, then death is imminent. What are the symptoms? Asked Mrs. Hart. Pain and numbness, difficulty in swallowing, headaches and nervousness. Also muscle spasms and convolutions. The squeamish neighbors who were engrossed in the doctor's remarks gasped. I think we should go ahead with injections. The distraught Mrs. Hart said, I've had enough. The potato that struggled Idaho. People who are squeamish about the sight of blood, or recoiling horror from most forms of violence, would do well to avoid some of the movies now being shown at their local cinemas. Producers have learned that films that scare the patrons out of their seats, ironically put millions of fans into those seats. Films that scare the patrons, keeping them engrossed in the goose pimple-inducing spectacles that flash across the screen. Of course, each movie carries with it a writing that indicates its suitability for certain age groups, each because of its subject matter, language, presentation, or level of violence. Pictures with a G rating approved for all audiences, while at the other end of the scale, those that are given an NC-17 rating for adults only, with no children allowed under any circumstance. Getting an R rating indicates that the movie is restricted, no one under 18 admitted without an adult. But some Hollywood muggles consider the R to be the magnet that ensures box office success. We can be sure that as long as shark films ring up a merry tune in the cash registers, producers will not desist from making them. Cash register. A director who specializes in making gory films involving monsters, vampires, and brutish serial killers boosted in a college lecture. Good taste. One student who disagreed was provoked to interject in his opinion. Sharks movies was in worse taste. That pictures the contain of all language and nudity. List their honest. What a smart movie. Mogul. Gets this mogul. The mogul king press mogul. Somehow was considered. なるほど。Ring of merit and cash